My name is Joan of Arc, and I was born in 1412 in Domrémy, a small village in northeastern France. I grew up as the youngest of 5 children in a devoutly Catholic family. My father was a farmer, and my mother taught me how to sew, cook, and care for the sick and poor. When I was 13, I began to have visions of St. Michael, St. Catherine, and St. Margaret. They told me that I had been chosen by God to help the Dauphin, Charles VII, reclaim his throne and drive the English out of France. At first I was frightened and unsure of what to do, but eventually I came to believe that my mission was real and that I must follow it. In 1428, I travelled to the nearby town of Vaucouleurs and asked the commander there, Robert de Baudricourt, to help me reach the Dauphin. He initially refused, but I persisted, and eventually he allowed me to accompany a convoy of soldiers to Chinon, where the Dauphin was staying. When I arrived at Chinon, I told the Dauphin about my visions and my mission. He was skeptical at first, but he eventually agreed to let me accompany his army to the city of Orléans, which was under siege by the English. I donned a suit of armour and led the French troops into battle. My courage and leadership inspired the soldiers, and we were able to lift the siege and drive the English from Orléans. This was a major turning point in the war, and it made me famous throughout France. Over the next year, I led the French army to several more victories, including the Battle of Patay, where we defeated a much larger English force. However, my success also made me enemies among the French nobility, who resented my influence over the Dauphin. In 1430, I was captured by the Burgundians, who sold me to the English. I was put on trial for heresy and witchcraft, and despite my insistence that my visions were from God, I was found guilty and sentenced to death. During my trial, I was subjected to intense questioning and interrogation, often for hours on end. Despite the physical and emotional torture, I never wavered in my faith or my belief in my mission. I knew that I had been chosen by God to lead the French army, and nothing could shake that conviction. On May 30th, 1431, I was burned at the stake in the marketplace of Rouen. I was only 19 years old. Despite my tragic end, my legacy lived on. In 1920, I was canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church, and I remain a symbol of French nationalism and female empowerment to this day. But my story doesn't end there. After my death, my family and supporters worked tirelessly to clear my name and prove my innocence. In 1456, the Inquisitor General of France reopened my case, and I was posthumously declared innocent of all charges. My trial and execution have since been recognized as a gross miscarriage of justice, and my courage and conviction in the face of persecution have become a source of inspiration for people around the world. Today, I am remembered not just as a hero of the French people, but as a symbol of courage, faith, and resilience in the face of adversity. My life may have been short, but the impact I have had on history is immeasurable.